got the whip on him. I'm being me, I'm the one and only. Stepping up so clean and the stain on me. Ooh, it's going down and now they know. Swinging hard like a Monday Ward. Make it slow, tell them press record.
What up, everybody who talks boxing, comments about boxing, and makes boxing videos? Yesterday, I was watching some videos. I want to give a couple shout outs real quick. First, I want to give a shout out to Joseph Jojo. This dude is just, he makes too much sense. He makes way too much sense. This dude, I mean, if you haven't watched him, you should check him out. I did do a spotlight on him on his original channel. And because of some things that happened, he deleted it, started a new channel. And if you're not subscribed to Joseph Jojo, I recommend doing it. He's a young man from Oakland. I think he's in college right now, but he impresses me with his maturity. He really does. He's one of the most mature channels I've seen on YouTube. It is what it is. And he made a video yesterday talking about how not everybody, but a lot of channels on YouTube are looking like casuals because all we're talking about is Canelo and Triple G. And he said that even he was guilty of it. And that's just a sign of maturity, taking personal responsibility. I'm guilty of it as well. It's just when there's a hot topic and you have a lot to say and you make a video and you're like, oh, well, and you know, you go back and you listen to it and you're like, oh, well, I forgot to bring up this or this. Well, I'll just say it on the next one. You tend to not realize that you're stringing up videos about the same subject. Especially when it's about the bigger names in boxing, it does tend to make us look like casuals. So, big shout out to Joseph Jojo, keeping everybody in check. Also want to give a big shout out to Strictly Boxing, because even though he has plenty of videos about the Canelo and Triple G situation, he actually has been talking about other subjects, and you know, he keeps it fair and balanced. If you haven't checked out Strictly Boxing, I recommend that you do. He is a channel that has grown so quickly. I think he said he started his channel in April, and we're in September, and he's already at over 3,000 subscribers. That's impressive. I find that impressive. What is that, like 5 months? So he deserves every last one of them. He's a good channel. He keeps it real. And I enjoy these channels that are not for fanboys, but just for real boxing fans. And both these guys, they just make too much sense. So some people won't like them. But for the ones who are boxing fans, who are open-minded, I think y'all will definitely enjoy these two channels if you're not already subscribed to them. So anyways, now that I got all the praises out the way, just want to talk about Danny Garcia, who was in talks of fighting Berto, which for Danny Garcia would have been a good fight. That was a good fight for him to take because he would be stepping it up. Since moving up to welterweight, he has not impressed me at all. For two reasons. One, he hasn't impressed me because of the competition that he has fought. And two, the way that he has looked against that competition. He looked like garbage against Paulie Malignaggi. And he looked better against Robert Guerrero, but that's not really saying a whole lot. On top of that, when moving up to welterweight, he was talking all this stuff about that he feels his power is going to be great, and that he's, basically putting the welterweight division on notice. And he's yet to knock anybody out. And it's not even stellar competition. You can't even defend him on saying, well, he's fighting good competition, and when you're fighting elite competition, you're not always going to knock people out. You can't even make that argument for him. So when he was in talks with Berto trying to negotiate a fight, I felt that was a good fight. It was a good step up in competition, and even if he didn't look so impressive, you could at least say, hey, it's against Berto. But instead, it looks like he's going to fight John Molina, who, Molina, I don't want to disrespect any fighter, really. I know sometimes out of passion I do. And, I do make apologies for that. I don't make apologies for the criticisms, but I do make apologies for the what comes off as disrespect. And it's never intentional. So, but, I'm not going to say John Molina is a bum, but he's not on that level. Who knows? He might surprise us and show us that he can, hang with Danny Garcia. I don't see him beating him. So, I wish all the best to John Molina. I don't dislike the guy. I have no hate toward him. No malice. But I'm just going to keep it real. From what I've seen, he's just not on that level with Danny Garcia. But we'll see. We'll see if maybe he can prove otherwise. But I consider him to be lower than probably both Paulie Malignaggi and Robert Guerrero. Paulie Malignaggi is old. If I were to put Molina over him, it's just because of John Molina is younger than Paulie Malignaggi. But I would probably put him below Robert Guerrero. It's kind of tough to say because Robert Guerrero did also suffer a knockout from somebody nobody's ever really heard of, really. So, it's kind of a fuzzy line right now with these guys. But bottom line is, he's not no better than the competition that Danny Garcia has faced in the welterweight division thus far. So, he doesn't, and that's the other thing. Him and his father do not like the criticism, but yet they're not willing to step up. Please understand, you're always going to have haters. Always. And that's why I think it's always one of the weakest excuses from these fighters when they're saying, it doesn't matter what I do, the fans are still going to say that I'm fighting bums. It's true, there are going to be fans who are going to say that because those fans are not fans, they're just haters. It doesn't matter what you do. I'll say this much about Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather probably does have the most haters out of all fighters. As much as I don't like him, he does have the most haters because there are people who never wanted to see him really step it up in competition. They just wanted to see him lose. Okay? Now, I don't think Floyd Mayweather did everything that he should have did, but I do think there's certain things he did that he didn't get enough credit for. Just keeping it honest. So I will say Floyd Mayweather probably did have the most haters out of any fighter. Some of that he brought on himself. But at the end of the day, when a fighter accomplishes something, you should put your pride aside and give them props for it. No matter how much you dislike that fighter. But that still doesn't excuse when they say, you know, like Danny Garcia and Angel Garcia, they want to complain about fighters, you know, criticizing them. And it's like, well, what do you think is going to happen? If you are a big name in boxing, you're going to have diehard fans, and you're going to have haters, and then you're going to have everybody in between. The haters are going to hate. That's just reality. If you can't handle that fact, I don't know what you're doing in the sport. You're not mentally strong enough to be in boxing if you can't understand there's always going to be haters. So it's just not a good excuse why you're not fighting this fighter or that fighter just because you feel there are haters out there. So Danny Garcia really needs to step it up. I think Berto would have been a decent fight for him. I think he would have still beat Berto, but hey, I mean, that was more of a, I would say that's like a 60-40 fight. Maybe even 65-35. That would have been a closer fight than this garbage that he apparently is going to happen. Like I said, none against John Molina. I just don't think he's there. I don't think he's a game fighter. I'll say he's probably a notch or two better than Salka, but, you know, Danny Garcia already got the Salka on his resume. Let's just leave it at that. But anyways, to all my subscribers, anybody who watches my videos, or if you just so happen to stumble upon this video, please feel free to leave a comment. Have a wonderful and blessed day. Peace.
I got some people that write me like I wish you died like your mama did. These are the comments that I got a problem with. You should be quiet and watch what you hollering. Yeah, my fans will eat you alive. Trolls get off on my page. My bars fly over their heads. I wrote that line on the plane.